short video on how I transport my fire gear. I had a question from someone who's about to get into the fire service and they haven't learned anything about, turnout gear yet. So kind of do a little, I guess, tutorial, if you will, about what I do with my turnout gear, and then I'll go into why I do it the way I do it later on in the video. So show you my setup real quick. Okay, so that's my LED light that I have velcroed up here to use for nighttime fire calls so I can see my gear. And I did a little video on this pull handle with a golf ball. You guys can check that out. So what I have, this is how I have my gear set up, and I'll pull it out and show it to you so you can see that a little bit better. I've got my cooler over there. I always keep, I put ice in it about every 3 days, and keep water, Gatorades, I always want to stay hydrated. If you're a member of the fire service, you already know this. If you're not, it's a good habit. So first I've got my pants, my bunker pants set up with my, my boots, the standard firefighter setup for your bunker pants. I've got my Nomex hood set just like I would put it on. I have that setting right on top of my boots in the middle, and that way when I pull my boots out, drop them on the ground, I throw my hood on first, put my suspenders on. The next thing I grab is my coat, so I have it ready to throw on. I keep my light charged up and on my coat, and my radio is on me right now, but normally it would be in my coat, and it's charged up and ready to go. And then I have 2 helmets and 2 sets of gear. This is my firefighting helmet, which you can tell by the fact that it's smoked out. I'm not by any means promoting that. It's smoked out from years of use. I've got an LED light there that's just about cooked. In fact, it's melted and cracked open, but this is my firefighting helmet, and I don't keep a SCBA with me. We keep those on our fire apparatus. So when I get to the scene, I'll grab a pack off of the truck after I've geared up. But I do have my own mask, so I keep my own mask in a bag where it's clean. And I keep that behind my helmet. That's not something that I use on every call, so that's kind of set in the back. So that's my fire gear setup. The other set that I have over here is a set that I actually use more than my fire gear, and it's a set just for rescues and vehicle accidents. So I have my city helmet, which is nice and clean, or my city issue helmet. That's my personal helmet. It's nice and clean. All the reflectors are nice and bright. And the reason for that is because when I'm wearing this helmet, I'm probably going to be in the roadway or near the roadway. So I want to have, absolute best visibility. Got a nice new, this is a Fox Fury. Both of these lights are a Fox Fury structural firefighting headlamp for firefighters. That's the same light. It's just seen a lot more action, and it's pretty well smoked and cooked out. So there's my helmet, and this is my setup. This is just a jumpsuit. It's a one-piece rescue suit. It's got all the reflectors sewn in and all of that. So I've got the boots that I wear, and these are just they're like a slip-on construction boot type of boot. Just a nice heavy leather boot with steel toes. Because if you're doing a rescue, you need to have the proper gear on. I've got safety glasses in my pocket. I've got flashlights in my pockets. Rescue gloves strapped on here on the side with one of those gauze straps just for gloves. So that's my setup, and the way that's set up, I open it up like this, set my boots on the ground, I put my feet in, pull the top up, and I'm in it. I can start walking towards the accident while I'm zipping up and strapping my helmet strap and all of that. So that is my setup on my gear, and I've got all kinds of gear in here. Some of it's for wildland. Of course, I've got the kids' pool noodles in here. You know, I've got everything in the back of my truck. But now that you've seen how my gear is set up, I've got it set up in the order that I would put it on so that it's fast and efficient. With the bed cover, it keeps it clean, it keeps it dry. I guess the number one thing that I want to explain about why it's back here instead of in my truck, the main reason that I don't keep my gear in the cab of my truck is because firefighting gear is saturated with carcinogens. The smoke that we're exposed to, the gases that we're exposed to, all of that stuff, it builds up in this material. And it doesn't matter, you know, it's very important to keep your gear clean, which I do. I wash it after every smoke exposure, even if it's not a fire, even if it's just smoke. You know, I wash my gear, I keep it clean. But this stuff is saturated with carcinogens and gases and all of that. And that stuff off-gases constantly. And the last thing that you want to do is put your turnout gear in the cab of your car or in the cab of your truck, SUV, whatever, where your family or yourself can be exposed to that stuff over and over. You know, it's bad enough that we have to be exposed to this in our line of work, but you don't want to expose others to that unnecessarily. If you do have an open type of vehicle, like an SUV, you can get those crates or totes, you know, where you can put a lid on it and it's sealed. Strap that lid down real good. You know, you can keep all your gear in a pretty small area, and that way you're limiting exposure. But if you have a truck, you can use a toolbox, which I did for a long time before I got a bed cover. You can use one of those weatherproof totes in the bed of a truck to put your gear in. If you have a car, you can use the trunk. But please don't put your turnout gear in the cab of your vehicle. It's just really bad for you. You don't want your turnout gear exposed to excessive sunlight because it will get UV damage and it'll break down the material in your turnout gear. So you want to keep it in some kind of a blacked out, you know, if it's a tote, you don't want to keep it in a clear tote, okay? So any color is fine, but you don't want the UV exposure. So this works out great. It's covered up from the weather. It's in the bed of my truck where myself and my family are not being exposed to carcinogens. So after I put my gear on, sorry for that whole long spiel, but it's important. So after I put my gear on and the call's over, I put it right back in a ready state. So my pants, again, are going to be the first thing that go on. So I set those back in there just the way I want them so that I can put them on quickly. My helmet goes in beside it with my face mask behind it. And then I'll have my coat. And this is just me. Everybody does this a little bit different. I fold my coat to where my radio pocket right here. So my radio is right on top, okay? And before I even put my coat on, I turn my radio on, hit the channel to make sure it's on the right channel, and hit the lock so that channel doesn't get changed unless I do it on purpose. Hold that flap down, and then I put my coat on. So I've got my communications taken care of as soon as I get to my coat. When I'm on shift, I have to carry my radio around with me. So I put my coat in there just like that so that my radio is right there in the front, you know, first thing. And I put the tailgate down so that I could show you this, but when I arrive on a fire call, most of the time I don't even drop my tailgate. I pop my cover up and I can reach right over the tailgate, grab my stuff, set it on the ground, put it on, and I never even have to drop the tailgate unless I want to. So that's just so that you can see, how everything is set up. And again, you know, an LED light like that, if you don't have a cargo area light, which I do, but it's covered up because of the bed cover, that is invaluable at night. You know, it gives you all of the light you need to get geared up and to gear back down when the call's over. So, thanks for watching, and for anybody that's just getting into the fire service, I've been in the fire service for 11 years now. I've been full-time for 9 years, and I love it. You know, I love what I do, what I get to do as a firefighter. It's a privilege. This job is not something to be taken for granted. You know, take it seriously. Remember that you're serving your community, and that public service is very important, and it's something that you need to take seriously. And remember that you're privileged to be able to do it. Okay, it's an honor to be able to serve people, and it's an honorable service. So, you know, if you're getting into firefighting, pay attention to those that have done this for years and years, good and bad, but pay attention because there's a lot you can learn, and there's definitely a lot to learn about this line of work. So, again, thanks for watching.